This interview, this conversation is becoming very interesting, sir, because there are so many highlights of understanding it. It's really pleasant to see you and your sense of humor and how you're putting things forth. But now we'll go on to a very serious matter, and that is the Russia-Ukraine war. So what, in your view, would constitute a victory for Russia in the Russia-Ukraine war? What are the red lines? Because you have, and I quote you, you have said very clearly that Russia will lay down arms only if Kyiv's troops withdraw from territory claimed by Russia. Which parts would that be?
You know, it's not about victory, like you have said. The point is that Russia is determined, and will certainly do so, to protect its interests, protect its people living there, protect our traditional values, Russian language, and so on. Protection by the way of religion that has been cultivated on these lands for centuries. Yet you know that the Russian Orthodox Church in Ukraine is almost banned. They seize churches, drive people out of temples, and so on. It is a problem. And I'm not even mentioning the ban on the Russian language and so on. It is all part of a big set of issues. Let me remind you, we were not the ones to start this war. The West egged Ukraine on and supported the events orchestrating a coup d'etat. That was the point that triggered the events in Crimea, followed by developments in southeastern Ukraine, in Donbass. They don't even mention it. We've tried to resolve these issues peacefully for 8 years, signed the Minsk agreements, hoping that they could be resolved through peaceful means. But Western leaders openly admitted later that they never intended to honor those agreements, signing them merely to allow Ukraine to arm itself and continue fighting against us. After 8 years of relentless violence against our citizens of Donbass, something the West hasn't uttered a word about, we were forced to recognize these republics first, and secondly, provide support. Our special military operation isn't the start of a war, but rather an attempt to end one that the West ignited using Ukrainians' nationalists. That's what is really happening right now. That's the crux of the problem. We will finish it when we achieve the goals set at the beginning of the special military operation, when we free these territories. That's all.
So what is that goal? What is the end game for Vladimir Putin in Ukraine?
I have said that already. Listen, we didn't recognize these self-proclaimed republics for 8 years. 8 years. They declared independence while we were trying to establish relations between the rest of Ukraine and those republics. But when we realized this was impossible, that they were simply being destroyed, we had no choice but to recognize them. And not just their existence on part of the territory, but within administrative boundaries established during Soviet times, then later under independent Ukraine after its independence, still within those administrative borders. And right away we told Ukraine, the Ukrainian troops, people don't want to live with you anymore. They voted in a referendum for independence. Withdraw your troops from there, and there won't be any military actions. No, they chose to fight instead. Now they have pretty much fought themselves into a corner. All this boils down to one thing. Either we take back these territories by force, or eventually Ukrainian troops withdraw and stop killing people there.